Look, this game didn't have the offensive firepower that I think a lot of people had, but the thing is that the Buffalo Bills' defense is legit. And I was like, I knew that they were going to be really good, right? They are even better than I anticipated. And Von Miller has made such a difference. And I'm wearing this Odell Beckham Jr. jersey, right? As I said, I am a huge fan of him, always will be. He's a free agent right now, and if I were him, I would not go back to the LA Rams, who can't protect Matthew Stafford, who does not seem right. Um, a stark difference, by the way, in who's making excuses for their play. Stafford definitely is injured and isn't saying anything publicly. Russell Wilson's leaking to the media that he's getting a plasma injection in his shoulder. Regardless,
Just slip that one right in there.
yeah, there you go. But the Bills should go get Odell Beckham Jr. because just take a lesson from what the Rams did last year. They got Von Miller, they got OBJ, that put them over the top. You get these premier veterans who understand actually how to win, and it looks like Odell is closer to back to normal than he, than not. You get them for their playoff runs, and that puts you a little bit over the top. The Bills should definitely do this because going all in the modern NFL with some of these free agency acquisitions for guys who are proven and established, it could help you. And I
I
know
mean, it's exactly what the Rams did and won basically and won the Super Bowl as a
they
result.
should. And the Bills are way better, way more talented. If the Bills ended up beating the Chiefs and the Chiefs didn't crap the bed against the Bengals,
Yeah,
I
I
mean, the
would.
Bills would have beaten the Rams, in my opinion.
Yeah, and
So
I also just don't think they would have lost to the Bengals, even if like the Super Bowl might, Super Bowls are such like they're such high variant events overall. Like who's to say? But like, I just think the Bills losing that game was like such a it's like almost like a Pyrrhic victory for the Chiefs because the Bills played so well.
yes,
But
right. Well, I mean, they kind of they exhausted their battery in
yes,
that
yeah,
game, and then they went
exactly,
to the
right,
Bengals, and the Bengals were riding this high, and they
right.
just were super hot at that point. But this is why the Bills should push all of their chips in this year, and I think that they should get Odell Beckham Jr. and anybody that's going to help them just spend and do what you need to do. 1 year contracts, and I would love if Odell came back to the Giants. He's been flirting with them. I don't realistically think that's going to happen. I think he's doing it for leverage with other teams,
He's
but he
he's
should.
he's personally torturing you by even hinting at it.
I just I'll forever love him, but I want him to get his second ring. I mean, that's why I
Yeah.
was rooting for the Rams last year, and I would root even harder for the Bills. I'm going to be rooting for them regardless. But I'll be rooting even harder for the Bills if they get Odell.
But I was saying last week, and I have to tip my cap to the Bills because I was saying, the Chiefs obviously in that playoff game, it was a 5 point win, but they stuck with them toe to toe and ultimately landed the last punch, and the Bills came back this season and won the game decisively. um, I'm really really impressed by this team. I mean, not in any way that's surprising, but in the sense that Josh Allen is just kind of a cheat code in the sense that you know if certain plays break down and the defense is playing well on the back end and receivers are covered, he can just scramble and hurdle a guy into the end zone.
Yeah.
He's just such a freak athlete that like, so many things that might not seem possible are
But
possible for him.
completion percentage coming out of Wyoming.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he's too raw. He's too. He's just tools. He's just tools.
Completion percentage is the dumbest statistic in football, but
Because I would like to see some more research on this, but I really wonder how predictive it is. Of like
it's not.
if like
I mean, it's
NFL
like
success.
I could have an 100% completion percentage if I just threw it to the running back.
Yeah, if you're
for
dinking
one
and
yard.
dunking, right? It's not. It's
I'm
not
sure
like
Teddy Bridgewater's completion
yeah, it was
percentage
very.
in his career is amazing.
Oh, he was very
He's a
high.
conservative quarterback.
Absolutely,
But
and that's a
guys
good
that
point.
have the
Yeah.
ability to actually stretch the field like him, and he's also just this
And they're going for shots. They're
incredible
going for
runner.
shots like that.
Yeah.
They're going for 10, 15 yards. They're not going just to get to the first down, get to the first down mark. They're trying to make field stretching, game breaking plays. And this goes for both the Chiefs and the Bills. That's how their offense is structured, and that's why not only are they so exciting to watch, the personnel makes that strategy work. And like that gate.
And he
like,
also avoids sacks. Like
oh,
the
absolutely, yeah.
Bills did not
Crazy.
the offensive line did not give up a sack. I think the Bills O line is pretty good, not amazing, but
And they held
part of
their
what-
own.
But part of what makes them look so good is because Josh Allen is so good at avoiding
Right.
pressure
He
because he's
helps them
so
out.
damn strong
They
and he can
cooperate with one
run.
another.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I
And
mean,
against a line that has Chris Jones and Frank Clark, and like it's not as if there are slouches on the Chiefs' defensive line. Like there are guys who can get home to the quarterback. So credit to the Bills' offensive line. Credit to guys, Gabe Davis with that crazy 98-yard touchdown reception. That
fantasy
great
football king.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And also
He's really
Chief
helping me out.
killer.
Yeah. Seriously, Chief killer. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 4 touchdown man in the playoffs. Now this near 100-yard reception. That pass to Dawson Knox was unbelievable. And on the defensive side, got to give credit to the, I don't know if you saw the story. Jordan Poyer wasn't cleared to play.
What a psycho.
He drove from Buffalo to wait. Did he drive from Buffalo to Kansas City?
He drove 15 hours, is what I saw. Yeah.
Man, that body must have been tight getting out of that car.
Oh my God!
But,
can you imagine the cramps?
But the end zone pick. The end zone pick from Mahomes was from Kyer Elam, the rookie cornerback that the Bills drafted, and he is looking like essentially a cherry on top for one of the best teams in the league. He is a fantastic looking corner for a rookie. He's not that big, but
their defensive coaching is
so
good.
Elam's not that big, but he's wiry, he's fierce, he's nasty, and he's always going for the ball and without compromising his coverage. He's a really, really great player so far, very early on in his career. I think he's one to watch, especially going into the playoffs. I could see him bringing that intensity in a real way once they're actually in the postseason.
And speaking of the postseason, if we don't get a rematch of this, I'm going to be very sad.
Oh, I really, it's actually kind of a crime that they're in the same conference.
It really is,
like,
right? We want
don't
them
get
in the Super Bowl every year, right?
Let them fight.
I understand the Eagles are very good. We'll talk about them in a second, but to me, it's just both of these teams would defeat the Eagles. Although I say that, and maybe the Chiefs just they aren't adjusting to not having Tyreek Hill in the way that I thought they would.
Yeah.
So they might have to kind of tweak some things, but
I think
those are by far the top 3 teams in the league. And then there's
agreed.
a huge drop off after that, in my opinion.
But it doesn't seem as if the Chiefs prioritizing the Mahomes-Kelsey relationship is a bad thing, in the sense that clearly last week, Kelsey went for 4 touchdowns on his own. Obviously, this is a better defense, of course.
Yeah.
Than the Raiders, but the fact that I think that connection remains really strong, and Kelsey, despite being a little bit older, is not really lost a step. He still looks.
He doesn't miss games.
He doesn't miss games. He's so reliable in terms of anything you really want from him, and he's basically an X receiver in a tight end's body. So it's just obviously amazing to have a cheat code like that at tight end. But like you said, it's a different story when Tyreek Hill is replaced with a rookie in Sky Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Marcus Valdes-Scantling. Like these are all like guys who I think in their own respect have strengths, but they're not. I would not even say all 3 of them combined are as explosive or as game breaking as Tyreek is.
Right.
Like Tyreek is someone who combined with Kelsey gave you a mismatch nightmare in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like over the middle, Kelsey was basically unkillable.
Total linebacker mismatch,
down. Right.
And then Tyreek's a total corner and safety.
Exactly.
Mismatch.
If you give him space, he's going to eat it up and then burn you when he gets to you. So I see what you mean, but I think also the Bills are just truly like they seem above the rest. They seem above the rest also in how they're winning these games too. It's not as if this wasn't just a complete shootout. This wasn't even that high of a scoring game. I could have seen it be 42-37 and it was 24-20.
Yeah,
I think,
which Romo called actually.
Yeah,
which,
of course he did.
Same score of the Giants game actually too. 24-20. But anyway, that
super fun,
and that game will matter for home field.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That'll be very interesting.
And great to see this because per what we were kind of alluding to a little bit last week and what we've been talking about is just like the parity we're kind of seeing in the league in the sense of there's a big middle class and then only a few teams really at the top. Like in this season, last year, the Jets at 4-2 would not have been the 5 seed in the AFC.
Right.
But this year, it's truly like we were saying, it's seemingly Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, and then a huge drop off. So to see them play a really hyper competitive game, it's nice to see that the guys who are at the top are playing really hard and
Yes.
playing really competitively even early in the
And
season.
those other teams will catch up in the merge, but as of now, I feel like that's quite clear.